All right. Good Monday, the third day of January of 2022. All right. So the first Monday show for the Joe Mangiacotti Show in 2022. I'm Joe Mangiacotti, Mattress Outlet Studios. Find us online at tjmshow.com. And by the way, all of our social media platforms are Joe Mangi Show, Mangi, Joe Mangi Show. You can join the conversation anytime at 508 871 7000. 508-871-7000 as we broadcast from our overly ostentatious studios in Westborough, Massachusetts. Our text line is also up and running at 617-297-8388. You can also text me by email by just simply emailing Text Joe on the Radio. It's exactly what you're doing. Text Joe on the Radio at gmail.com. It appears on the same screen, and we try to work it into the conversation. So we've got an exciting, jam-packed hour here. Every Monday from 1 to 2 o'clock. Saturday mornings, we kick off at 6 a.m. Each Saturday and Sunday, so be sure to join us then. And then I join Jerry Doherty on Thursdays at 10 o'clock for Political Thursdays as well. Hey, Jazz. Jazz is flying the board. Good afternoon. Well, we talked to each other yesterday, so we're already old hats at 2022 because we already did a show together.
Oh, honestly.
Honestly, right. All right, so let's get into this. Actually, not right now. What I'm going to bring up a little while, probably after the next break. The only success of the Biden administration, the best kept secret of the Biden administration, and they're not really talking about it. And aren't they talking about it? Why don't they want to talk about it? But before we do that, I did want to this, and not because she's so easy to pick on or anything, but AOC. All right. So we've got Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She's getting a pass from the mainstream media for not wearing a mask while out partying in Florida. Now, the first thought that might come into your head is it's a little petty, Joe, right? No. Listen to what's going on here. See, the problem with this is either you believe that masks are necessary and they work, and of course, science says no, it's an airborne situation here. So it does. Cloth masks don't work. If it's not the N95, if it's not, so fine that the droplets can't make it's useless. But that's not even the discussion we're having. So she was videotaped, right? So she's out, and I think it was a drag bar. So she's somebody videotaped this, recorded her without a mask in this very densely packed bar in Miami. And the mainstream media has given her a pass on this for the hypocrisy here. Now, there's a lot of hypocrisy happening on the left. But here's the thing. And because I already heard the response, the talking points coming from the left. She's perfectly incompliant. It was outdoors. There's the rules are, she's following the rules. Fine. And that would be okay for any normal situation. However, either you believe in the masks or you don't. And she is a congresswoman who preaches and shames non-mask wearers and says that you must wear the mask because they're necessary. Well, if they're necessary and you believe that, then shouldn't you be wearing them when you would wear them in New York or when you would wear them in public? When you should wear them in any dense populated bar, regardless if it's outside or not. So this just says to us that she doesn't believe in her own rhetoric about having to wear masks and mask mandates. Because the moment she has the opportunity not to wear one, she doesn't wear one. So does that mean that the COVID variant or the Delta variant, the Omicron variant in Florida is smarter than it is in New York? No. Either you believe what you're saying and what you're imposing on other people, what you're shaming other people for, or you don't. Now, I've already talked about and posted the videos of her on the stairs of the Supreme Court, and then it was, I forget, it might have been the rally for the rent, moratorium on rents or something, whatever she was there for. And someone's cell phone's doing this little demonstration, and she's unmasked, shoulder to shoulder, sitting on the stairs, people in front of her, behind her, to shoulder, left and right, packed in there, no mask. When they officially say, "Oh, we got to take a photo for this," and they're setting up the camera, she says, "Oh, wait a minute, I got to put on the mask," and she puts the mask on for what she thinks is the official photo, which was the official photo. But the point is, there were several people who already had their cell phones running. When are these politicians going to remember everybody is a walking studio? And then we see her mask up. So it's the hypocrisy of this. She was perfectly in compliance with the Florida rules and that bar's policy and all of that. But that just shows that she doesn't even believe this mask thing. It's just all politics. It's just totally political. It's not based in science, and she doesn't earnestly believe it. If she earnestly believed that the mask was to wear it, that it was so dangerous not to, or that you could be passing it on and being a danger, a super spreader, a murderer of children and old people, then she should have the mask on, regardless of where she is, regardless of what state she's in. It doesn't matter, AOC. Does not matter. Now, this is the part that really gets me. So, the squad leader here, right? And of course, she's getting criticism for this. I don't know if she's getting the criticism I'm giving her, but you're a hypocrite, and it doesn't matter. Wear the mask or don't. You just prove that you don't believe in the mask. Fine. We know you're a hypocrite. We know you're a liar. We know you're just so full of it. And quite frankly, not the smartest person in the room. We've gotten that. But of course, she gets the criticism, right? The Twitter sphere gets going. And her response about this from Republican conservatives is it's being motivated by their sexual frustrations. Yes, this is the way this woman's mind works. When they criticize her, she says that they want to date her and that they're jealous and they want to kiss her and that they're sexually frustrated. That's what's prompting this attack.
That whole thing just totally blew my mind.
And does she set women back, Jazz? Does she set women back 50 years with a comment like that?
Well, and honestly, like being an attractive woman myself,
Woo-hoo.
yes, this is something that we deal with, but at the same time, that's not something that will change your life like that. That's not something that you can use as an excuse like that. I'm sorry, no.
Look, I'm pretty confident that at no time, when a conservative or not, but anyone who's saying, because we have eyes and common sense and we see this and we say, wait a minute, that's pretty hypocritical of you. You're not wearing a mask and yet you're saying that they're necessary, and if you don't wear one, you're a killer and all that. I don't think at any point did someone say, oh, I am so sexually frustrated and attracted to AOC. This is my opportunity to get at her. Maybe she'll notice me. I mean, I have no idea how she connected the dots to get to the fact that her conservative critics are just sexually frustrated. That answers it all. And of course, the mainstream media, giving it a pass, right? None of them are mentioning any of this or talking about it, but she joins many on her side with the same hypocritical action. So AOC, give me a break. Once again, I understand her district because when I say this, but will somebody please primary this woman? In the Republicans, you can't find a Latino female conservative with a 3-digit IQ to debate this woman and go against her in a general election? Is it really that difficult? I don't understand. We're seeing the of course, Nancy Pelosi is in her last year of speakership. She just bought, what is it, a $25 million home down in Florida. She's going to retire to Florida. Her and her husband have become worth hundreds of $millions during her tenure as Speaker of the House. And in previous shows, I've broken down kind of the line of the growth of their wealth while she's been in Congress. And her, like Hillary Clinton and many others, seem to somehow make these incredible financial decisions in the purchases of stock or getting in on IPOs, all at the right time, and offers extended to them that wouldn't normally be extended to them because they're not friends or family of the corporation. I know that's a broad thing that I'm saying here, but other shows have gone into this is to the fact that her husband's been given opportunities, like the Capital credit card, Capital One. And they get this invitation to participate in this IPO stock, which she later passes legislation. In other words, no one has been brought up in charges of insider trading here or anything. But shouldn't we be looking at members of Congress closer than we are? Because these are the people who are not either worth nothing or in serious debt when they go into office, and by their second and third terms, they're worth 7 and 8 figures. All right, 14 and a half minutes after the hour on the Joe Mangiacotti Show from the Dropbox Middlesex Mattress Outlet Studios. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back on the other side, I'm going to talk about the best kept secret, or probably only really success of the Biden administration going on that nobody really knows about. And you need to know about it because it's a dangerous thing that's happening. Back on the other side, 508-871-7000. All right, we'll be back on the other side, 871-7000.
I want to tell you what Cantiani Insurance has been able to do for me and Teddy. We stopped in to see Paul Sr. and the great staff at 318 Plantation Street. They've been handling my car and business insurance for years. Teddy was making his way around the office, and they let me know. They now offer pet insurance. For a fraction of what one visit to the vet was for Teddy, they could cover him for a whole year. I know you treat your furry family members like any other family member, and as well as I do Teddy. The professional staff at Cantiani has been providing courteous service for over 40 years with integrity and personalized service, making sure that your insurance actually protects you and your family. With 2 locations, the 318 Plantation Street in Worcester and East Douglas Insurance Agency, located at 306 Street in Douglas. For home, auto, business, and now pet insurance, click CantianiAgency.com or call 508-791-2088. 508-791-2088.
Find greater financial independence, peace of mind. Triton Financial, founded and managed by Bob Gustafson, is an independent financial advisory firm and serves as a fiduciary for its clients. Triton continues to be a leader in comprehensive financial planning. Contact Bob Gustafson today for a no-cost, no-obligation conversation that could put you on the path to greater financial independence. Call 508-480-8383 or visit TritonFinancialGroup.com.
We know why you're awake. Your child is about to get their driver's license. Levante's Auto School offers 1-week driving programs to help make sure your child stays safe and focused behind the wheel.
877 Drive Ed. Who's Ed? That's the number for Levante's Auto School.
Learn to drive safely and efficiently. Visit one of our 5 locations throughout Massachusetts. Click LevantesAutoschool.com.
Levante's Auto School shows you how to learn the rules and keep your cool. 877 Drive Ed. Who's Ed? That's the number for Levante's Auto School.
Hey folks, Joe Mangiacotti here, and I have recently purged and refreshed with new furniture and, most importantly, a new bed. We spend about a third of our life on our mattresses, and it's so vital we have the right one, and we don't break the bank to do that. I first bought a mattress from the big store the brothers used to own, and a power base that moved the head and feet, and then I met John, and I checked out his showroom at 50 Main Street in Ashland and online at boxdropmiddlesex.com, and ended up with a better mattress, a power base that also heats and massages, all for less than half of what I was going to spend at the other place. Boxdrop is a discount mattress store, and John specializes in clearance and closeouts, and he buys directly from the manufacturer with a low overhead and just family employees, passing the savings on to you, and you can see it reflected in the price every day. Click boxdropmiddlesex.com or call John on his cell. This is his cell number, 508-579-9303. That's 508-579-9303. And you can find John on Facebook at Boxdrop Middlesex. John loves referrals, and this is the best referral I've given so far this year. Dropboxmiddlesex.com.
Joe Mangiacotti Show on Powerhouse Station WCRN and our affiliates. To talk to Joe, dial 508-871-7000, and you can text Joe on air in real time at 617-297-8388 or email textjoeontheradio@gmail.com. And now back to the most interesting man in the world. Sharks have a week dedicated to him. Common sense talk for the common sense citizen.
All right, folks, welcome back to the second segment of the Monday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show from the Boxdrop Middlesex Mattress Outlet Studios. I'm Joe Mangiacotti, 508-871-7000 to join the conversation. So, folks, one of the best achievements, right, and there were a lot of achievements and great things done in the Trump administration. I know people are going to take issue with that because when you really think about it and break it down, you're taking issue with it because you don't like Trump, not because you can actually argue that he created the lowest unemployment for blacks, Latinos, Asians, women, that the economic opportunity zones, right, the trade imbalances, the defense, he built up the military. I mean, the space creation of the Space Force. I mean, you go on and on and on. But, and I've said this many times, that one of the best things in the legacy of the Trump administration is actually going to be the judicial system. The fact that he had 3 Supreme Court nominees appointed and 200 judges throughout the federal system. So he has done this, right? So this is going to be a legacy for Trump, just a one-term president who had such an impact in filling those vacancies. And in doing so, he has instilled constitutional judges. He looked at their records, their comments, their writings. Were they activist judges or were they, in fact, constitutional judges? And that's a big difference. And he had said it over and over again. You look at Amy Coney Barrett. He wanted judges who are going to look at cases and rule on the law, on the Constitution, not arrogant people who are activists and will further their agenda to heck with the Constitution. Well, the Biden administration has been doing kind of the same thing. When you look at this, he has done 40 judicial appointments in his first year. That's a lot. Since Ronald Reagan. Reagan did 41. Trump first year, Bush 13, Clinton 28. And Bush did 28. But Biden ends 2021 with the most judicial picks since Ronald Reagan. That's going to change the court because he's not, unlike Trump, he's not caring about whether they're constitutionalists. And why can we tell this? Because 92.5% of his judicial nominees have met with 25% or greater opposition in a Senate that the Democrats control half of. So this is concerning. His latest pick here, Nancy Bana Abadou, who works for the Southern Poverty Law Center, and we know just how fair and equitable they are, is his latest nominee. And her writings, her posts, her dialogue is very concerning to a lot of senators because she equated proof of citizenship with voter suppression. She likened felon voting ban to slavery. First, it's insulting that you're comparing any of this to slavery. But when she says things like, when you add laws that prohibit people with a criminal conviction from voting, it's practically the same system as during slavery. Black people who have lost their freedom and cannot vote. Wow. And without access to the ballot, a victim of the system cannot elect the very officials pulling the levers to hire the police, determine which cases are prosecuted, and what sentences are imposed. So, yes, that is of concern to a few of our senators. Because she's clearly someone who's going to put her agenda and the left's agenda ahead of her duties as a judge, who is supposed to set all of that aside. They're supposed to set all of that aside and deal with what are the facts relate to the Constitution. Does it pass constitutional muster? When we look at other presidents in the opposition, Biden's at 92.5, right? Trump was at 68%. And you know, a good deal of that, if not majority of that, was only because it was Trump and probably not the individual. Obama, 18% opposition, and Bush, 0%. So this is concerning because we're going to have judges, federal systems, that are activist judges, not constitutional judges. It's clear if the Senate GOP will support Biden's nominees in red states, but they have. I mean, he's got 40 appointments done, and many remaining vacancies to be filled are actually in states with at least one GOP senator. So he has 4 federal judges confirmed. Now, about 75% of Biden's nominees are women and 65% people of color. Now, Biden has already demonstrated to us that identity is more important than qualifications. Look at his vice president. And that, by the way, if you miss it, is racism. I know people argue on that, but if you choose somebody because of their race, it's as bad as not choosing someone because of their race. Racism is racism. Altering your behavior or your decisions or making your decisions based on somebody's race or gender is racism and bigoted. That's not vague. There are currently 100 vacancies on district and circuit courts right now. 100. Now, during the Trump administration, I talked about this a lot because it was going to be one of Trump's biggest legacies, is his approach to the SCOTUS and the federal court system. And he was surprised. He was surprised to find out there were over 300 vacancies that went unfilled under the Obama administration. BO, I don't know. He was busy. He didn't really get to it on the judicial front. So when Trump realized work and got 3 SCOTUS appointments and about 200 for court system, which was, again, good America, because the people he put in place, the only test that forward is, where are you in the Constitution? So she's is facing tough confirmations over these past comments. And she should. And most of Biden's official nominees were from states with Democratic senators. So this hasn't happened since Reagan at 41%. So this, folks, is very important in something. And if you notice, this is quiet. 40 federal judges in your first year is actually an achievement. And they're not bragging about it. And they're not talking about it. They can't win elections fairly, and they can't win there. So they turn to the court, but they need activist judges in those courts. And they're trying to do this on a very large scale. And this is going to be a very dangerous fallout if we end up with hundreds of judges who are activist judges and will twist what's in front of them for their agenda. What say you? 508-871-7000 to join the conversation. I'm Joe Mangiacotti. This is the Joe Mangiacotti Show from the Boxtrop Middlesex Mattress Outlet Studios. AM 830 WCRN, AM 730 WACE. Don't forget, we're live streaming on the TuneIn app. And of course, you can watch the live stream on my Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn page, Twitch TV, plenty of places to check it out. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back on the other side. Stick with us. 508-871-7000.
This is Full Service Radio, 830 WCRN, Worcester, Metro West.
With an AP News Minute, the federal government is moving closer to booster coronavirus shots for more Americans.
Boosters are already recommended for everyone 16 and older, and the Food and Drug Administration now says they're also warranted for 12 to 15-year-olds. Regulators say kids those ages can get a booster as early as 5 months after their last dose, rather than 6 months. The CDC is to rule later this week on whether to recommend them. While 19 tends to cause less severe illness in children, child hospitalizations have been rising during the Omicron wave, mostly among the unvaccinated. Sagar Magani, Washington.
All schools in Canada's most populous province, Ontario, will be shut down and moved to online learning because of a record number of coronavirus infections. The premier also announced the closure of indoor dining. Gyms and cinemas will also close, and hospitals have been told to pause all non-urgent surgeries. I'm Ed Donahue.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
You know, if you feel like you're stuck with a healthcare plan that isn't affordable, or you simply don't like it, right now is a great to MediShare. The typical family saves $500 or more per month with MediShare. And what's more, they like it. MediShare has double the customer satisfaction rate when compared to health insurance. You get access to a massive network of providers and 24/7 telehealth. And MediShare is the most trusted name in healthcare sharing. It's been around for more than 25 years. And it's more than just a fair too. You get to be part of a community of Christians who pray for each other and support each other. But here's why now is the time to make the switch. Join before January 15th and they'll waive your new member fee. You'll save another $170 right off the bat. Call now. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is January 15th, so you can save even more. Call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
Time now for the forecast from the Boston Independence Group Weather Center. Call Jerry Doherty today at 877-772-1776. Retirement is within reach.
I'm meteorologist Sherry Spear, and here's the latest Boston 25 weather on radio 830 WCRN. It is looking cloudy out there for today, and although we're keeping it dry and cool with highs in the upper 20s in the Worcester area for today, if you're traveling down into southeastern Massachusetts, we could see as much as 1 to 3 inches of snow. The islands, in fact, going up to 6 inches potentially of accumulation here this afternoon. We've got dry weather that will last us through about Wednesday in the Worcester area. Then we're going to get into a little scattered rain. I'm Sherry Spear, and you can hear Boston 25 live for the morning drive weekdays on AM 830 WCRN.
Another marvelous Monday in New England. I'm Ted A. It is January 3rd, 2022. It has been reported that 75% of people think the world of 2022 will be better than last year. Driving that is the confidence in Big Pharma to produce an end to the COVID scare. 1/3 of the people that participated in the survey say that cultures will be more tolerant of each other. The other 2/3 are not convinced. There will be far fewer people using commercial air for travel when compared to 2019. More than 60% believe there will be other extreme weather events compared to last year. More than 70% believe that city centers will begin as more people get back to working from the office. 75% understand that prices will increase than incomes. The WCRN News is brought to you by John the Roofer, a leader in the roofing and home improvements business for more than 70 years. Call 866-906-ROOF or go to the internet and see johnTheRoofer.com.
You're listening to the Joe Mangiacotti Show on Powerhouse Station WCRN and our affiliates. To talk to Joe, dial 508-871-7000, and you can text Joe on air in real time at 617-297-8388, or email textjoeontheradio@gmail.com. And now back to the most interesting man in the world. His tears cure cancer. Too bad he never cries. Common sense talk for the common sense citizen.
All right, folks, welcome back to the second half of the Monday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show from the Boxtrot Middlesex Mattress Outlet Studios. I'm Joe Mangiacotti. Don't forget, on our social media platforms at Joe Mangi, M-A-N-G-I, with Joe Mangi Show. Our lines are open and available, 508-871-7000 to join the conversation. That's 508-871-7000. All right, folks, so I have, and if you listen to me at all in the past, you know where I stand on the whole social media, the banning and the censorship and the shadow banning. And I've been saying this for years now that we have got to revisit the Section 230. And that's the part of federal law that went into effect back in the 90s, right? So this is way overdue, folks. When the internet was still in its infancy and was coming into the picture, and at that time there were actually people who thought this was a phase rather, like a fad, that it was going to go away. Like they had no idea, right? In the 90s we had that the internet was going to be, in essence, in every corner of the world, in every part of our lives, right? Everything that everybody, you're basically born and they slide a smartphone into your diaper and you got a phone number for the rest of your life and you're online. It just, nobody knew this. So they put this Section 230 in that exempted these tech companies from being able to be sued, the liability of it. And this has given them free rein to ban. Look what they did to the president, right? Permanently, they took Trump off of Twitter. They've shadow banned this show on Facebook and YouTube. They basically decide what is free speech and what isn't. We have another example of this. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene's personal Twitter account has been permanently banned by Twitter. So they're saying that they permanently suspended the account, and it was MT Green with 2 E's, for repeated violations of our COVID-19 information policy. We've been clear that per our strike system you get for this policy will be permanently suspended accounts for repeated violations of the policy. Now, here's the thing. before we get into the discussion about and how these people are out of control. So, well, what was because they don't cite the specific or the information. Now, what is known factual information and truthful information 6 months ago, a year ago, the big tech companies decided was false. So you got to ask the question, who is making the determination to say this is not? And I've been suspended when all I've done is reposted something from a medical doctor, an MD, someone who holds the same degree, title, and education as those that they're, but because they're on the right side of their political outlook on the issue, their MD degree actually means something. Their doctorate, their medical doctorate, they're going to take seriously. Doctors who say, well, you know, we got to look at monoclonal, we got to look at ivivectrin, we got to look at this or these therapeutics. No, that's not the message. The political stand here is vaccinate, booster, wear a mask everywhere, and none of that other stuff we're going to talk about. So who people at Twitter that are making these medical decisions or information decisions because time has proven that they're wrong? And what they considered false information, as we knew when they determined it was false information, is in fact accurate. Who's making those decisions? And why do they have this power? Now, going back to the bigger picture of this, the argument is always their companies, right? You're not required to be on Twitter or Facebook. And they can decide. And that's where I go back to the Section 230. They have to make the decision, publication or you a platform. You cannot be both. And you cannot have the best of both worlds, meaning you cannot be exempt from being able to be sued. Well, you can put whatever you want out there and and stop anything else that you don't want for political reasons. So Representative Green is putting out information that is out there. This is not making things up. He has said to her, can you back up the source of this information or this post that you made? Have Taliban and ISIS leaders on Twitter. True demented sociopaths, recruiters have Twitter accounts. But a sitting congresswoman who shares information 19 that they don't like gets permanently banned. Got to fix this. And I maintain that Facebook and Twitter should be treated as public utilities. They are certainly acting as agents of the government. And see, the Constitution, folks, protects us from the government, or it's supposed to. One could argue it hasn't been doing its job lately, or it hasn't been enforced. But that is how our founding fathers set it up, is that the Constitution and the Bill of Rights guarantee us these rights and protections from the government becoming too big and tyrannical and, in essence, squishing us, right? But it doesn't protect us from each other, meaning that's why a private company can do these things and it doesn't fall under the constitutional rights. It's not a violation of your freedom of speech. But once you work under the color of government or the color of law, then you're an agent of the government. And the Biden administration has admitted on many times that they consult with, work on policies and meet with these leaders of Facebook and Twitter on a regular basis. So the government has contracted the suppression of certain speech out to these private big tech companies and then step back, hands off. No problem. It's not us. It's not the government. Wrong. 508-871-7000. Let's go to Mark in Worcester. Mark, thank you. Happy New Year again. You look marvelous.
You look marvelous as well. You happy to hear from me?
Yeah. Why not?
Anyways, you a judiciary.
Yes. It's a scary thing, Mark, that he's doing this and nobody's
no, it's
paying
not
attention.
scary at all. It's all on the level. Come on, it's just your imagination. You're making stuff up out of thin air.
That's what we
We're gonna
conservatives
get-
do, Mark.
Yeah,
We're
you're
all
going to
conspiracy
the
theorists.
Maxwell case. Okay.
I didn't catch that last one. Yeah.
The prosecution had, from what I'm hearing, 40,000 pieces of evidence
Mm-hmm.
that they could have presented to the jury. Out of the 40,000, they only presented 40. That means that there's 39,600 and 960 pieces of evidence that the jury never saw. So what does the judge do, the presiding judge? I believe it's a she. She seals all that evidence. She ordered them sealed. So now it's in a look up who her father is.
Yeah, I know.
The presiding judge. Who's her father?
Father is some big British mogul, right? Is he?
No. I mean the presiding judge.
Oh, I have no idea, Mark. You don't have to share with the audience who.
No, look at it. You can look it up.
Yeah, well, okay.
So anyways, yeah.
Mark, I'm getting the signal
that
we have to take a break. You're welcome to hold on through the break and continue on the other side. But I don't control the clock on the Monday shows here, folks. So we got to take a quick break here at 44 and a half minutes after the hour on the Joe Mangiacotti Show at from the Boxtrot Middlesex Mattress Outlet Studio. Stick with us. We'll be back on the other side.
Cheryl Ann Gengel co-founded the Be Like Brit Foundation, founded to honor the memory of her daughter, Brittany Gengel, who died tragically in the 2010 earthquake in Haiti, along with approximately 300,000 others. To honor her life and her commitment to those less fortunate, the Be Like Brit Foundation works towards fulfilling their vision to raise the next generation of leaders in Haiti. Please take a moment to visit belikebrit.org to learn more about our mission and to see what your help has accomplished and will do in the future. Make a difference. Be like Brit.
We know why you're awake. Your child is about to get their driver's license. Levante's Auto School offers 1-week driving programs to help make sure your child stays safe and focused behind the wheel.
877 Drive Ed. Who's Ed? That's the number for Levante's Auto School.
Learn to drive safely and efficiently. Visit one of our 5 locations throughout Massachusetts. Click Levante'sAutoSchool.com.
Levante's Auto School shows you how to learn the rules and keep your cool. 877 Drive Ed. Who's Ed? That's the number for Levante's Auto School.
I want to tell you what Cantiani Insurance has been able to do for me and Teddy. We stopped in to see Paul Sr. and the great staff at 318 Plantation Street. They've been handling my car and business insurance for years. Teddy was making his way around the office, and they let me know they now offer pet insurance. For a fraction of what one visit to the vet was for Teddy, they could cover him for a whole year. I know you treat your furry family members like any other family member, and as well as I do Teddy. The professional staff at Cantiani's has been providing courteous service for over 40 years with integrity and personalized service, making sure that your insurance actually protects you and your family. With 2 locations, the 318 Plantation Street in Worcester and East Douglas Insurance Agency, located at 306 Main Street in Douglas. For home, auto, business insurance, and now pet insurance, click CantianiAgency.com or call 508-791-2000 2088. 508-791-2088.
Hey folks, Joe Mangiacotti here, and I have recently purged and refreshed with new furniture and most importantly, a new bed. We spend about a third of our life on our mattresses, and it's so vital we have the right one and we don't break the bank to do that. I first bought a mattress from the big store the brothers used to own and a power base that moved the head and feet, and then I met John, and I checked out his showroom at 50 Main Street in Ashland and online at boxdropmiddlesex.com and ended up with a better mattress, a power base that also heats and massages, all for less than half of what I was going to spend at the other place. Boxdrop is a discount mattress store, and John specializes in clearance and closeouts, and he buys directly from the manufacturer with a low overhead and just family employees passing the savings on to you, and you can see it reflected in the price every day. Click boxdropmiddlesex.com or call John on his cell. This is his cell number, 508-579-9303. That's 508-579-9303. And you can find John on Facebook at Boxdrop Middlesex. John loves referrals, and this is the best referral I've given so far this year. Dropboxmiddlesex.com.
You're listening to the Joe Mangiacotti Show on Powerhouse Station WCRN and our affiliates. To talk to Joe, dial 508-871-7000, and you can text Joe on air in real time at 617-297-8388, or email textjoeontheradio@gmail.com. And now back to the most interesting man in the world. He brings a knife to a gunfight, just to make the odds even. Common sense talk for the common sense citizen.
All right, folks, welcome back for the fourth and final segment of the Monday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show from the Boxdrop Middlesex Mattress Outlet Studios. And just to help back to just before the break, I guess Mark hung up, but the situation on the judge, guys, if you're going to call up, you don't call up and give me homework to do. Or if you're going to call up and offer information or offer a perspective or a point of view. Whatever it is, I don't need homework assignments. And it's not enjoyable to the listeners to listen to that. And it's not a female. I know it could be confusing on that because the judge in the Maxwell case is named Allison Nathan. But it's a male. He has a name that could be considered female, Allison Nathan. He's 48 years old. He's a male, and he has twin sons. He went to Cornell University. That's the judge in the Maxwell case. So you guys can check it out. But yes, here's the problem, and this wasn't on my agenda, but because a caller brought it up, Mark brought it up. What happened there? Okay, they got the majority of the convictions. That's great. Now, one of the dirty little secrets about federal sentencing, a lot of people don't realize, is if you are convicted of 5 out of 6, or even 2 out of 6, the judge can sentence you based on the guidelines of all of the charges, even the ones you were found innocent to. And that's a little dirty secret of the federal judicial system a lot of people don't realize. So even though she was found not guilty on that 6th charge, the judge can still roll that into the sentencing. Sealing the documents, it's done in court in cases a lot, but you have to ask yourself in this particular situation, why, and what are the names of the pieces of evidence that were not put forth? And why sealed? And does it have something to do, and one would hope this is the case, right, that they're not done with her and she still has to be sentenced, and there is a mechanism in place that even after you're sentenced, that with certain cooperation, you can reduce your sentence. So she was probably confident she was going to be found guilty on some of these. And as I said, they probably explained to her, if you're found guilty on any one of these, the judge can use the guidelines for all of the charges to sentence you. And you're going to look at possibly 100 plus years. So hold back something to trade with, to barter with. Or is she more concerned about her health and will be quiet and stay quiet for her own self-preservation. That's only she knows what she's thinking on that front. But hopefully, they're not done. She's a treasure trove. Yeah, I know that people are thinking that, oh, they just went after her because they couldn't get Epstein. He took the coward's way out, or did he? Took that coward's way out. He's not there. He's not available. No, this woman is despicable. She doesn't have to be under his shadow or anything. What she did, recruiting these little girls, and I'm sorry, 14, 15 years old, you're not a woman. Recruiting them, massaging them, lying to them. She was a pimp. She was an international multi-millionaire, billionaire pimp. She's horrible, horrible person. And she deserves anything she gets, and probably will not get what she deserves. But if she can be used to go after all of those who enabled Epstein, go for it. Now, I'm not, they're very powerful people. Remember, this guy, nobody really understands where his money came from, but he had airplanes that were gifted to him, homes in Paris and London, New York, and Ireland, an incredible lavish lifestyle. And you have to wonder how much of it is blackmail money, hush money, but not just the powerful, not the Prince Andrew situation, Bill Clinton situation, Bill Gates situation, all of these powerful people. And they should be held to account if they participated in any of this debauchery that happened. But there were drivers, bodyguards, pilots, servants, if you will, at these places, secretaries, assistants. There were a whole army of people that had to see what was going on, knew what was going on, knew the drill, knew what was up when that Lylota flight or whatever that took off in the plane. Whether there's no press, there were no cameras or cameras that they know of anyway, and they're on private islands and all of that. They knew, and they should be held accountable. And I hope they go after these people, because anybody who knew what was going on and was a part of it and stayed silent, well, they abused and raped and assaulted and ruined these women's lives, these little girls' lives over all of these years, should be held accountable and brought to task on this. And this includes back in the Florida case, the prosecutors who fluffed that. On that conviction, the guy leaves the jail every day, goes back to his Florida mansion, parties, dines, has all these people over, and he just goes back at night and sleeps in a cell, and that serves as time. Now that is a sweetheart deal. So as far as Maxine goes, Giselle Maxwell goes, all of the people who allowed this to happen, big and small, should be brought into account. Now, maybe they have to, like normal prosecution and an investigation, and when you're going after the big guy, you do start around the edges. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So maybe they have to, over the next few years, they're going to be going after these chauffeurs and pilots, housekeepers, bookkeepers, assistants, whatever it is, in striking these deals. And every time they go after these people and they take these depositions, they're gathering more information. And when you get those depositions and you get this information and you go to the next tier And you're going to find out that you're going to get them perjuring themselves, or they're going to either take the fifth to not incriminate themselves. But this is how you build a case. And eventually you work your way up. And I don't think that the Bill Clintons or the Prince Andrews of the world should have any safety security exemption in this case whatsoever. They need to go after everybody surrounding that POS that's dead in this POS who is waiting sentencing. 508-871-7000. Let's go to Ken. Ken, we short in time, but we got a couple minutes. Good afternoon. Happy New Year again.
Same to you. Just quickly on your topic, I don't think we're going to get much out of this because it's not the big fish, it's the second fish. And let's consider who's the head of the Department of Justice.
Yes and yes. Okay, but here's the situation. This isn't going to happen in this year, much, not even in this administration's time.
Oh,
this could go on for years, that they could continue to go after. There are enough people to continue to do this. Now, yes, the problem here is you got names like Clinton, Bill Gates, and Prince Andrew who are implicated and involved with this guy. But if you go after enough people and you gather enough information, you're eventually going to get to them. Now, 100% Ken, are they going to be stonewalled in the DOJ? Are they going to be shut down? We saw what the FBI and the DOJ did to anything approaching Hillary Clinton. Reports got altered, right? Statements were changed. Reports were written up before the interview took place.
Yeah, it'd be on hold until January 25, and then come January 25, the new administration, we're assuming the other party, has a whole different list of priorities.
Yeah, and it's disgusting that we even have to think in the terms that the justice system is going to find justice based on what party is in in
Yeah,
that
it's one of
is
many systems that are corrupt.
Yeah, it's
That's
very
reality.
It is the reality, and it's which brings me back to the whole point of the fact that the Biden administration has quietly appointed 40 judges in his first year without a lot of attention to this. And they're activist judges. The example of this Ganunu here that I talked about. But Ken, I got to hold you there because that's it. The Monday edition is coming to a close. That was quick, folks. Hey, for those that I haven't said it to already, Happy New Year. I hope 2022 is a great year for you. I'll be back Thursday morning at 10 a.m. with Jerry Doherty for Political Thursday. And, of course, weekend mornings, we kick off at 6 a.m. right here on AM 830 WCRN. I'm Joe Mangiacotti from the Box Drop Middlesex Mattress Outlet Studios. Enjoy the rest of your day, folks. Joe out.